What is going on, guys? It's K-Field again, bringing you some more F1 2012 career, and we're at the Indian Grand Prix at the Bud circuit, and we're on the pole. Very nice comeback from Kevin James, I have to admit that, and he is on the pole with his rival on the outside pole, number 1 and 2, so it's going to be an awesome race going into the first couple corners to see who gets the position. The setup is quite fast. And this is a setup I would recommend that anybody feel free to try. In any car, I think it would work well. And the gearing you'll have to switch around, but this gearing works really well for me on the back straightaway. We just hit into the purple on the rev limiter before we had to get on the brakes, so it's right before the limiter, and it works really well for me. And that's where we're beating a lot of cars. I'm saving all my curves for the back straightaway, and I just really romp on it to get down that back stretch, and made a lot of time. I'll just show you the laps to further express my point. Q1 127.8, or Q1 I ran a 129, that was on primes. Q2 a 127.7 on options. Q3 a little bit slower, 127.8, but Raikkonen was almost 9/10 of a second slower than me in both sessions, and we even took the fastest in practice by about a second and a half. I don't know how. It's still legend difficulty. I swear it. I really do swear it. I swear on my heart. I have not altered the difficulty at all. I don't know. I guess the setup is really fast here. And I felt like when I hit the 127, I felt 127.7 in Q2. I felt that I had more. I felt I could have brought it down an extra, probably around 3/10 of a second. I got in the grass a little bit in turns 5 and 6. Very tight there, double left-hand apex, and if you take too much speed on the exit, you can run a little wide on the right and clip the grass, and I think that slowed me down going into the next section, which is almost like a chicane. And so I felt like we could gain a little bit of speed there, but all said and done, race fuel strategy seems okay. We're starting on the pole, so normal fuel strategy seems fine, and we'll come in when they want. What do they say? Lap 5. Okay, that's fine with me. Let's get on the grid. First spot on the grid. I'm excited about this one. We have a really fast car. This is our home Grand Prix for the Team Force India in India, and we're on the pole, so the team must be really happy with us right now. Let's see if we can get it done today on Sunday. Not even going to use my rich mix.
The boss wants another point finish this weekend. Let's give it everything.
Going wide a little bit because I was worried about Raikkonen. Up into the hairpin. Really nice section of the track. Try to expand my lead as much as I can before they get DRS, because it's going to be a prime overtaking spot for them. But it's very hard to make it stick here. This track is very hard to overtake on. It's very fast, but it's very twisty at the same time. Coming back down the hill now into turns 5 and 6. Not too much speed through here. Don't want to rip up the tires too early, but we're dipping into the grass a little bit. Not too much. Not going to upset the car. Off the throttle here. Don't use too much of this curb. You can use plenty of that exit curb though, and then we're going into a really high-speed section of the track here. Tons of G-force on the real drivers. Dipping over the curb. Not like they would in real life. Got a corner cut warning for that, but that's okay. This curve very tricky because it will make the car it'll upset the car, and the back end will come out. So you got to be really careful how you enter it and how you hit it. I'm being very conservative now. Probably gonna push it this lap, see how far I can extend the lead before we get into DRS. Don't want to use too much of that exit curve. unleashing all my curves here. Get a solid run with my rich mix. Don't want to get too close to that apex because the track really dips there. Raikkonen has closed the gap on me. Into the final hairpin. Nice and easy on the throttle as you exit. Now we're going to see some DRS. See how much we can pull away. Make as much of a space as we can. Oh, we pulled ahead massively. Even with DRS, they have no chance. Kick it down to standard. Gotta watch that curb, but you have to hit it. Going a little wide on that right-hander every time. Car really understeers there. It's not the fault of the setup, it's just the track. So they're a little bit faster than us. 7/100ths of a second off our last pace. Alonso setting the fastest lap of the race. Okay, so Raikkonen with the DRS this time. Is he gonna have enough time to challenge me? No, he will not. We're about the same pace right now, but our pace is good. Such a tricky track. Once the tires start gripping, we don't have to worry about that curb so much. It's only for the first few laps. Still in the lead, 4 laps in. Pitting this time by. I'm gonna run rich for this lap, see if I can make a good gap before we enter pit road. I'm gonna try to really push it this lap. Making quite a gap for ourselves again on this back straightaway. That curve really helps us do that. Dropping on the brakes real hard. going into pit lane now.
And we'll use DRS to overtake.
Looks like a lot of cars are coming with me. We're probably going to get out before them. Forgot to go to lean. That's okay. Come on, good stop, guys. Get us out. Good job. I'll run rich for my outlap again.
Watch out for traffic as you rejoin the track. You have no more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tires.
Looks like Ricardo's right behind us. We went from the soft to the very hard compound tire now, so things do change quite a bit. But I got a car between me and Raikkonen, quite a few cars. Oh no, just Ricardo.
You're on the slower tire, but you're maintaining the gap to the car ahead, so we're very happy. This is good.
Putting on the block. Ricardo's on the option tire, so we're gonna have a hard time defending against him. But it's so very tricky to overtake somebody in this section of the track. I'm not worried. Unless they do something really rash, I'm not concerned. Yeah, he's much faster than me, but he's gonna have to pit this lap, so. Should get out in front of all these cars.
Quite a few cars in the pits right now. Watch out for cars
Yes,
exiting.
we do. Back to standard. We're in front of every car now. Back in first place. This big gap between me and the other cars, pulling away from them. This is an amazing feeling. Home race. You just got to be smooth. Smooth as silk. Can't afford any mistakes. Even if it means we got to be a little bit slower, I'd rather take that. Because, I mean, look at our gap. 2.5 seconds. Remember, they got a lot of traffic to deal with back there. It's going to really slow them down.
You have a 2-second gap to the car behind. We need to keep it clean so he doesn't get a chance to overtake.
The gap looks like it's remaining pretty much the same, give or take a couple tenths. That will make up in different sectors. I think Raikkonen is probably a little bit faster than me in Sector 2. But we make it up in Sector 1 and 3. So we're just going to stay on our standard mix for the time being. Save those extra 2 laps for the end. Now, first place. Riding around in first place is a little bit boring, that I do admit. But it's a good feeling, especially when you're on the toughest AI difficulties. With the AI mod I have, it's a good feeling, and we've had a bad couple of weeks lately. I think Singapore, starting with Singapore, I don't remember if we had a good finish there. The last couple races have been minor point races, and Alonso has overtaken the lead from us in the Drivers' Championship. And Raikkonen beat us last week in Suzuka. So the rivalry is 2-1, and I really want that Lotus contract if I can help it. Because I haven't seen a Mercedes contract pop up yet, and that was the only team that was really making me tempted to not go at Lotus. But the Lotus seemed to be fast with this new change in 2013 car pace. Raikkonen's gained some time on me, so I gotta really hit my marks now. Got an extra lap of fuel, let's use it. Until it drops down to +2 laps, I'll run Reg. Pulled away. He's got no DRS, so. Run a little bit faster now.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
To get a little bit of grass on the tire, but in order to be quick here, it kind of has to happen.
There's
no way around it.
You and the car behind. Just 2 seconds.
Much quicker than last lap. Always worried about that curb. Made up more time, 0.2 of a second now difference since the last split. Go back to standard. Big gap, big gap. I think another reason why I always end up racing a little bit more cautiously and slow than I like is when I'm recording, I'm always thinking about don't make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, it's when you spin and you wreck the car in the wall, then I gotta restart the whole thing over again. So I gotta have a video. So losing a front wing and having to pit is different. But when you wreck the car and you get terminal damage like that, and the car's out for the weekend, you kind of have to do another video. Don't really have much of a choice. But my tires have found some extra grip, seems like. Tires barely have used any life in them. Barely worn. Then again, the hard compound lasts quite a while. Rivals running first and second right now. Very interesting. It's not much of a showdown, but we're 2.5 seconds up on him now, which is better than last time by. Beautiful entry and exit from the hairpin. Clipped that apex just the way I wanted to. Yeah, wow, what a gap. It might even get up to 3 seconds in the next split, or at the next sector. When it shows the split, it might even be 3 seconds. Nah, I don't know if it's that fast. Ah, maybe! 2.6. We're in the green the whole way, so our pace is great. Fantastic. The car is just really with it this week. And go figure, it's at our home race. Maybe that has something to do with it. I doubt it. 0.2 of a second faster that time. Well, actually more than that. 0.4. Well, no, 2 seconds faster than our best lap.
He's trying to close the gap.
So Raikkonen has went to his rich mix now. With that, we might have to as well battle back. In fact, that will. We have plenty of fuel. 4 laps to go. Might as well run rich now until we can't anymore. So we'll see. Everything has been smooth as silk right now. Just how I wanted it. A little bit boring of a commentary, but I mean, I'm kind of just focusing on hitting all my marks as I can. So anybody watching right now, when did you first get into Formula One? Because I imagine if you're watching this video, you do have an interest in the sport. When did you first discover it? And how did you discover it? What race was it? What were you doing at the time? Feel free to answer in the comments and let me know, because I would be interested in finding out. Me personally, I ended up watching the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I was on vacation. And I was flipping through the channels, and this was about a couple years ago. I mean, I knew of Formula One, but back then I always used to get them mixed up between Formula One and here what we have in the United States, IndyCar. Very similar, but at the same time very, very different. IndyCar don't have the backing that Formula One has, that's for sure, and IndyCars don't race on circuits either. They race on ovals most of the time. And there's something cool about an IndyCar going flat out over 200 miles an hour around an oval track the whole time, side by side. And as much as I don't like oval racing, I still think it's pretty cool for an open wheel car to do that. So when I say open wheel, obviously I'm referring to the kind of car we're driving right now, where there's no body works covering the wheels, or body work rather, not works. So I was on vacation, and there's nothing on TV, and I was up late at night, and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was on for some reason on a British channel. But I mean, I was in Florida at the time, so I mean, we had satellite TV. It was on Sky, I think. Sky, maybe BBC, I can't remember. And I remember watching it, and I was in love with the way the car sounded, with the technicality and of the whole sport, and just the science behind everything. And I think that was really, really, really cool. And so I went home and I had to do research. I started looking up people, and you know, I've always known about Michael Schumacher. Before I even got into Formula One, I always knew about Michael Schumacher and Ferrari. Those two names went together all over the media. Michael Schumacher this, Michael Schumacher that, and Ferrari winning another championship. Fastest man alive, and all that stuff. And so I knew who Michael was, but I just didn't really pay much attention to it, because at the time I was watching NASCAR, and Dad's a big NASCAR fan, so I was just to watch it with him. And eventually it got boring. And I mean, I was watching NASCAR back when Dale Earnhardt died. I watched that race live when he died at Daytona. I mean, I must have been about 15 years old. I was in 2001. I'm not going to do the math. We only got one lap to go here to get our victory in India, but it was 2001. I'm 27 now, and it is now 2013, so do the math. That's how old I was. Raikkonen has been gaining, so that's because I'm trying to keep things extra careful as to not make any last lap accidents. We have a second, almost a 2-second gap. There's no reason to make a mistake now. So, ever since I've been really heavy into Formula One. Favorite driver, as you know, Lewis Hamilton. I was always a big McLaren fan because of that. Now he's with Mercedes, so of course I'm rooting for Ross Brawn and, the Mercedes guys. And Nico Rosberg. I like Nico a lot too. I think he's a great driver. But Hamilton, the way Hamilton drives reminds me the most of Senna, and especially in the wet conditions, because Lewis drives really well in the wet most of the time. He has a knack for it. But I don't know, I've just stuck with him ever since. And not to mention, I'm a white guy, but I think it's really cool that there's African Americans in motorsports, especially in something like Formula One. There's a lot of politics behind it, and there's no kind of discrimination. I think that's great. I think racists are a bunch of idiots, just to be quite honest. And we are going to come around the final corner to get the win in India for our home team, setting our objective, of course. Kevin James looked ecstatic in the cockpit of that car, beating our rival as well, up 3-1. So it might be over as far as the rivalry goes, because I don't think no, there's 2 races left, so it's not over. Dominated. We didn't get the fast lap, of course, but we were close. Only about 2/10 of a second off fast lap pace. It seems, because no, about 3 or 4-ish. So not bad. Our pace was really good. The car is great. Really good job with the car this weekend. Back up to second. Only a 13-point gap now, so we have plenty of time to overtake him and win the championship. It might even go all the way to Brazil, and that's going to be a track I'm fairly excited for. But the Mercedes have really dropped off, both in the top 10, but they've really dropped off, and the McLarens are up there too. And the Ferrari. So the cars seem really well, but the Red Bulls I expected to be more competitive, more towards, first, second, not a Ferrari. But we'll see. Let's go check out our podium celebration, of course. Team has to be thrilled right now. One thing Codemasters needs to do is actually add a legitimate podium ceremony, like champagne. Get them on the podium steps and play the song, or whatever song they play, per country. I think that'd be really cool for them to do that. But anyway, guys, that is it. That is India. I hope you enjoyed it. Looks like we have another contract offer, so we'll check that out. Offer to renew our contract with Force India, but I'm just going to leave that hanging right there. Next week, Abu Dhabi. And it looks like it's going to rain Sunday and Friday. Saturday looks to be good for qualifying, but we're going to be going into the race in wet conditions, which is, it's actually pretty good, because there hasn't been that many wet races this season. I don't think I've ever really needed to get the intermediates out at all. It's either been dry as a bone, or I had to go to full wets. So hopefully it gets to that point, just to change it up a little bit. But as always, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed it. Mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys next time in Abu Dhabi. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the rest of this season and the upcoming season, of course, as well as any F1 2013 stuff. When they finally do release the game, I will be jumping into that head first. So if you want to stay in touch, obviously, comment me anything you want, and if you own the game on PC, I'm always down to race, because there's not that much stuff going on with online racing on PC. It's more about Xbox. And yeah, if you want to race, just get a hold of me somehow or message me, and I'm always down for that. So I will see you next time, guys, in Abu Dhabi. Have a good one. Be good. Be safe. Peace out.